take a look at the shadow work journal. I want to introduce it to you as a very helpful tool and resource for your shadow work journey. Unless you learn to face your own shadows, you will continue to see them in others because the world outside of you is only a reflection of the world inside of you. Wound mapping. Let's identify your inner child wound based on the attributes listed on the next page. There's abandonment, guilt, trust, and neglect. Those are the 4 major kinds of inner child wounds. And you may find that one or more identify the most with yourself. The reason to do this wound mapping activity, it's the first activity, which is important. This exercise allows you to pinpoint your emotional wounds from your early childhood. These wounds are what cause certain behaviors and habitual thought patterns that do not serve us. Abandonment wound. If you feel left out, if you have a fear of being left alone, if you hate being alone, or you feel uncomfortable when you're by yourself, if you're very codependent, if you threaten to leave in certain instances, and if you normally attract emotionally unavailable people, then you might fall under the abandonment wound. The next wound is guilt wound. If you feel sorry or bad, and if you don't like to ask for things, and if you use guilt to manipulate people, if you have a fear of setting boundaries, or it's more difficult for you to set boundaries, and if you attract people who make you feel guilty, then you will fall under the guilt wound. Trust wound. You have the trust wound if you're afraid to be hurt, if you don't trust yourself, if you find ways or reasons not to trust people, if you feel insecure and you need a lot of external validation, if you don't feel safe, if you normally attract people who don't make you feel safe. The next one is neglect wound. If you struggle to let things go, if you have a fear of being vulnerable, if you have low self-worth, if you get angry easily, if you struggle to say no, if you repress your emotions, and if you attract people who don't appreciate you or people that don't make you feel seen, then you'll have a neglect wound. So take a couple moments and identify, see which ones stand out to you. Give yourself a little hug, symbolic hug. There's a lot of other things like journaling prompts and trigger tracking pages here. This is especially useful whenever you're extremely triggered, when you're feeling a rise of emotions coming up and starting to take control of your thoughts and how you react and how you talk to people, how you behave. Before you let that take off and control the rest of your day, go through the getting to the root of your shadow, and it'll definitely put a halt in that takeover. Your own copy of the shadow work journal, and support my page. Follow me on TikTok. I've been posting for forever now, and I love to interact with people there.